Madam Deputy Speaker, and I draw attention to the fact that I am a solicitor with a current practising certificate who has appeared before the tribunals historically. I want to speak very briefly today about the £1.3 billion maintenance backlog in our courts. We have heard that the Justice Secretary is going to commit £287 million to it. It is a very large sum of money, but it's not enough. I want to talk about the fact that we have seen legal aid rates that haven't gone up since 1997. The Justice Secretary is looking at increasing them very significantly, but unfortunately moving them from £40 an hour to £60 an hour, when in private practice most solicitors would expect to be billing about 5 times that to run their firms, is just not enough. When we look at how much these measures I'm afraid not. When we look at how much these measures will bring down the backlog in totality, it is simply not enough. When we look at the fact that from reporting a rape to actual trial is now on average 6 years, bringing down the backlog slightly by the end of next Parliament is just not enough. I have significant concerns about the restrictions on access to jury trials. Anyone who has read Baroness Harman's independent review into bullying, harassment and sexual harassment at the bar should have real concerns about the attitudes of some barristers towards women and ethnic minorities. Of course, not every barrister exhibits these traits, but they are a systematic problem. She talks about the fact that a recurrent theme in the submissions was that there is a tolerance of misconduct at the bar which is learned and passed down from generation to generation. I was told that some barristers, particularly men of the older generation, have no idea how outdated and offensive some of their views are, nor do they care about the impact of sharing those views on those who may be offended by them.
Can I again give way on that point?
I will.
The Justice Secretary identifies that we have these problems, and he talks about the delivery of training to support people, to be brought into the 21st century in terms of racism and misogyny. Do you believe that those kind of training courses can work?
So, thank you very much, my honourable friend, for the intervention. Obviously, not everyone is exhibiting these traits, and of course, training can help. But my understanding, anecdotally, is that substantial numbers of members of the judiciary are currently not up to date with the training requirements that they already have. So I would welcome hearing more from the Lord Chief Justice about exactly how those training programmes will be developed, brought forward and made mandatory in a way that is effective. I also have significant concerns, though, about what Baroness Harman has recommended in terms of talking about the importance of the Judicial Appointments Commission taking into account findings of misconduct when they are considering who to appoint as judges. It is astonishing that she has had to make a recommendation that this should actually be required. How has the Judicial Appointments Commission been operating to date? Madam Deputy Speaker, I stand here as someone who does not like to criticise the judiciary. I know that there are many very hard working members of the judiciary who have been operating in a very difficult environment for a very, very long time. We have to be honest about the fact that actually most of the rates I'm referring to were not put up by the new Labour government either. We have had cuts to the justice system now for 25 years, and that is why it is on its knees. And we can do things within the context of the current system that might make it somewhat better. But I go back to my original question. When rape trials are taking 6 years from arrest to prosecution, what are we going to do that actually wholesale changes that? And nothing that I have heard so far has convinced me that what we are going to do here today, whichever permeations we go with, is fundamentally going to transform those weights.